Hello and welcome to Caravanning with the Missus. Thanks for tuning in, joining, subscribing and watching, and I hope you're all well. Today's little vlog is about my TV caravan bracket that I'm going to replace in the caravan. I've got a new one. I've had the current one for a good 2 or 3 years now, but it's time to replace it because it's got a couple of big disadvantages. So when we got the TV, we got it shortly after we got the caravan about 3 years ago. We got the bracket. At the time, it's a Navtex TV, 27 inch, so it was the biggest one they do. At the time, they only did one bracket, so we bought that because it was nice and lightweight and everything. It's lovely jubbly. So yeah, unfortunately, and we've lived with it for a couple of, well, as I say, about 3 years. But thing is, ladies and gentlemen, is we like to watch the TV in 2 different positions. So in the mornings, we like to sit at the end of the bed and watch the TV just sort of like that in the corner there. So leaving the front window free so we can enjoy the view, because usually there's some sort of fields or something out there which is nice and pretty to look at. So that's great. So we like it like that, and it doesn't obscure the view. We also like it so there's no cables or bracket or anything visible at all. So that's great. We love it like that in the mornings. And then in the evenings, if we want to settle down, if we're not going to a pub or anything, then we'll often sit in the living room area down this end, and then we'll swivel the TV round, and then we like to watch it from here. I won't do it now because it's too hard work, especially while I'm holding the camera. Yeah, and normally we like the TV, you know, normally it'll be, the screen will be here while we're watching it. So, problem is, with the Avtex one, is, hang on, as you can see, to operate it, well, to move it, we've got these screws. So, oh, there you go, screws. We've got these screws. So, to move it, I've got to loosen that, loosen the other one over there, and then I can swivel it all the way round. But, make the matter worse, there's these little teeth here. We've got to line these up as well. So, and that one. And so it's very difficult to do that with this one and that one at the same time, loosen these and put it into position. So it's quite difficult. Not only that, the threads on these screws are getting worn out as well. Because I've actually, well, I won't go into it, but yeah, the threads are getting worn out as well. So that's a couple of problems. And the other problem with it is it's fastened to the back of the TV. You can't remove it. The only way, so when we travel, the only way I've got of travelling with it is, or taking it off, taking the TV off so that I can travel, is by removing this one completely, so unscrewing that right off, and then I unslot it, unslot the arm here, and then just rest the TV on the bed. So that's how we travel with it. So now, as you probably know, these days you can get caravan brackets especially for caravans, that actually slot in. So whenever you're travelling, you can just slide the telly off, put it on the bed. When you've got to your destination, slide it back on and just swing it round into position, and there you go. No loosening or tightening nuts or anything. Well, hey, as the actress said to the bishop. So I got a new bracket. I've seen there's lots of brackets around. I know there's ordinary ones you get in the houses, but I'm not too keen on those because they often come in with 3 sort of arms, and I could be wrong, but I would imagine normally you'd be able to see the bracket with those because they seem to go quite low down with the telly quite high up. So this one, I bought it from Mount It, I think they're American, on the internet, less than about £40, so not a bad price because these things aren't cheap anyway. It's got the socket there, so this goes on the back of the telly, and then that bit slides into that bit when you want to put the telly on. So that's all right, just slide it on into place, and there's no screws or anything that need tightening. And the other thing I like about it, so it's quite sort of slimline. If you look at it horizontally, it's you know, not very well, it doesn't protrude vertically much, so it doesn't go down, or you know, so hopefully if the TV's there we shouldn't be able to see it. That's what I'm hoping for, but it's not the end of the world if you can, but I just like to keep things concealed. So yeah, and you can move it without having to loosen any screws or anything. You can tighten these ones if you want to secure the positions, and it moves in all directions as well, swings all the way vertically, diagonally. This little bit at the end that goes, you can change the angle of that. So yeah, and it's free spirit level, yeah. Don't know if I could probably use that for leveling the caravan, I suppose, couldn't I? Except I can't. Anyway, so yeah, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fasten this bit to the back of the telly, and then I'm going to put this bit on there instead of the silver one. So I'm going to remove that one. Incidentally, when I put the Avtex one on, I wasn't too sure if this bit of wood was going to hold it, but we've had about three years with it and it's been absolutely fine. So when we're travelling, the telly's not on it, but yeah, so strength hasn't been an issue with that bit of wood because it doesn't look like the strongest thing in the world, but that's been fine. But this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a little bit of support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the plug sockets off. I've already taken the bezel off, so I'm going to remove the plug sockets just with the screws there down the side and over the other side. I'll remove those, and then I'm going to pass in a little bit of wood and then pop that just behind this bit inside here, pop it behind that bit so that the screws for the bracket will screw into that bit of wood, so just provide a bit of extra support, because the actual bracket itself is quite heavy, unfortunately, because of course I haven't got much to play with. Oh, flipping it again, you always forget the words well, I do when I'm on camera. Payload, I haven't got much payload to play with in my light caravan, so yeah, so that's unfortunate, but not a deal breaker. Okay, so let's see how I get on. So I've positioned where the top of the bracket's going to go, like that. What I did was I put the telly, mounted the telly on it and swung it underneath the cupboard so that it just missed the cupboard, and just mark the top. Obviously impossible to film, it's very difficult to do actually just on my own. I did that, so I've marked the top of where the bracket's going to go there. The screw hole's directly underneath it, so I've marked that. Quick pilot hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my beautiful assistant to hold the bit of wood behind, hold that in place while I drill the pilot holes and then screw the screws in. There we are, finished it, perfect position. There we go, and all the bits down there. Cable management going underneath the arms there. Bum bum bum. Only thing is, which is worth watching out for and telling you guys about, is when it's in this position it's starting to flex. I noticed this wood is just starting to flex. Look, if I lift the TV up a bit, see that gap closes a little bit, so it's starting to flex a bit there. So what I might do as a separate DIY job is you can remove these by taking out these screws down there and then put a couple of brackets in there to stop this from flexing away from the main bit. The guy who fitted the solar panel removed that, so I'll have a look at his video. So I'll do that as a separate project, because obviously that's not good. So obviously that's the limit to the amount of weight that that thing can take, which isn't too bad. I mean, it looks a bit flimsy, and I did put my support wood behind there as well. So now the main thing is we're watching TV in bed, which is lovely jubbly, as we do. Can't see any wires, can't see any brackets, it's all lovely, and we can see the view of the fields through the main window. And then to turn it round, if we want to sit at the see if I can do this while holding the camera at the same time, just because I'm so lazy I can't be bothered to get my tripod. So now stick my finger underneath it, and then of course swinging it round is quite straight forwards. Dun dun, and then that's in the evening mode, which is exactly what I wanted. It's tilted down a little bit, so it's just perfect. And again, while we're sitting over here, because we've got a thing about our cables and stuff, you can't see any cables or brackets or anything like that. Oh yeah, there we go. So jobs are good, and and when it's in that position, it's not flexing that bit at all. So obviously there's a little bit more stress on it in the other position. And the other thing is, I won't do this while I've got the camera on, because it is difficult, is obviously I can just lift it off and slot it on the bracket when I get to the destination, to caravanning. So brilliant. Which reminds me, I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. Not particularly entertaining, but I hope you got what you want from it. You found it interesting. It's just interesting to see how to take that to pieces and stuff. You can get from Prima Leisure, you can get the holes for the old bracket. You can see the holes there. You can get those little sticky circles that they use everywhere in the caravan. Where are they? There's probably some around somewhere. Yeah, these guys here. What's so dark? Yeah, you can get those. So I have got a couple of packets of those. But of course, the first time I want to use them, I can't find them. But I'm sure they're somewhere. So all you do is just get those and then just stick it over the little holes. So there we go. So let's say, hope you've enjoyed watching the video. Our next stop, we're going away, a couple of days time. Oh, it's Tuesday today. I don't know when you'll get to see this, probably Wednesday. So if you're seeing this on Wednesday, the 11th of September, then we'll be going away the day after. We're going away to Southport, which will be interesting. It's a pop-up site run by the photographic branch of something or other, but the photo thing's optional. So we're staying there, £20 a night off grid, and then 5 nights later we shall be moving to Kendal in the Lake District, staying there on grid. That's very good value for money as well. I'll tell you how much it is when we get there. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. If you do subscribe, better check to make sure you're not already subscribed, because it's quite easy to unsubscribe yourself. So nice one. Thank you very much. Laters taters.